Thank you for joining us on this quick overview of Necto. This is Necto's home screen. You can see an example of a workboard. A workboard is basically a collection of charts, grids, graphs, but also of discussion and threads that people are having over the data. I can see here a link to my recent workboards, to my favorite workboards, but also to my relevant workboards. Relevant workboards are workboards that were suggested to me by Necto. These are reports other users created, but since Necto understands my topics of interest, understands the data I'm looking at, Necto suggests to me other content which was created by other users that could be relevant and interesting for me. I can also filter that content by using the topic cloud and, for example, decide I want to see only workboards which are related to retail or to sales. I can also see the recent discussions tab, which will show me all different discussions I had recently using Necto, and the subscription tab. Subscription basically is a way for me to automatically receive workboards that were created by other users. In every organization, we typically have analysts which create reports, and this way we can have them online and live all the time. Let's choose a workboard to connect to, and so we can see exactly what a workboard is made of. Okay, so this workboard shows data of a wholesaler and retailer. We can see the different product he is selling and also the different channels that this wholesaler sells his product. This chart below shows us sales over a period of a year. We can see the different channels such as store, catalog, reseller, and online. We can also see a grid which describes the sales of product over territory and its corresponding chart. Here are two examples of KPIs showing sales performance and order quantity. Now there's a lot of data here in the workboard, but Necto always helps the users focus on the relevant one. A good example is the one-click insight button, which will automatically highlight irregular data within Necto. And we see the two triangles added to the grid, and if we hover on top of them, we can see that Necto identified automatically a substantial decrease in sales of a bit more than 13% in music, movies, and audiobooks. Now, this decrease was happened on this product also on North America. So what we want to do is focus this workboard on both the product music, movies, and audiobooks and on North America. So let's start by selecting the product music, movies, and audiobooks, and then deselecting Asia and Europe. Okay, so we see now the chart reflects the sales in North America over music, movies, and audiobooks. We can very quickly identify that the reseller indeed had a substantial decrease between June and July, as Necto suggested. And if we look at the grid below, we see the grid focus on product over North America. We probably want to change product to focus on the actual channel. We want to see again the problem on the channel level. And we see that Necto actually identified an issue or problem in each and every one of the channels. Let's try to maybe increase the threshold. Look at real substantial decreases in sales. When we do that, when we change the threshold, we will see that only the reseller exception is the one left standing. And if we hover on top of that, we see that the resellers experience a substantial decrease of over 30%. So we look now at the data and we see that we identified a decrease in the reseller, but we can't tell which reseller or which resellers are responsible for the decrease. And the data we're seeing doesn't have that information. In this example, the grid is based on analysis services. Fortunately, our resellers send us once a month a pipeline with all their sales. So what we want to do is take this data, throw it inside Necto, and maybe understand which resellers are responsible for the decrease. For that, we're going to click on the editing mode, and we're going to add a grid to Necto. There's a lot of stuff you can add, like web components, web pages, all different BI and unstructured data you can just throw inside Necto. But let's start by adding a grid here alongside this one. When we do that, we have an option to create a new grid. We can connect to many different types of data source, mainly analysis services, also Power Pivot and SQL 2012. Let's start by connecting to, again, the Excel report, which holds the pipeline the reseller sends us. Let me show you first the pipeline itself. So this is the pipeline that I received from my resellers. You can see it has the resellers' names, the date of the purchase, the amount, and the product. Let's go back to Necto and connect to this grid. Necto is uploading the Excel file, transforming it on the fly to a multi-dimensional grid you can slice and dice. Going to connect to the pipeline worksheet, click Finish, and that's it basically. Okay, so we see Necto uploaded the grid. Let's maximize it so we can see what it's all about. All right, so we see the actual numbers from the Excel. Here are the dimensions that Necto automatically transformed the columns into dimensions. Let's start by slicing it by North America, which is the region we want to focus on. And then by products, we'll just slice according to music, movies, and audiobooks. Click Apply. Now we're basically getting the list of the resellers that sold North America music, movies, and audiobooks. Let's now drill down and zoom in June and July, which are the months that we're trying to understand what went wrong there. I'm just zooming in now and selecting June and July. So now we can see the grid with all the resellers. We can see the 4 main resellers which sold in June and July. And we see a highlight by Necto suggesting a substantial decrease in sale. If we hover on top of this exception, we see that Necto identified that Powerhouse has actually experienced a dramatic decrease in sales of 82% between June and July. If you want to see the exact numbers of the growth of the other resellers, we can easily add a formula such as growth. Okay, so we can see now that other resellers indeed did not suffer any decrease. So Powerhouse is indeed the reseller which causes us the problem. Let's just change the layout very quickly to make it a bit slimmer. And let's go back to the workboard. I'm going to show only the grid and go back to the workboard. Okay, so now we have our original grid and now the one we had from Excel, which points out that Powerhouse is the reseller which causes the problem. Let's start communicating this to the user. We can quickly add a note to a dimension or cell or to the entire grid saying, hey, this basically is a grid based on the pipeline. Doing this, so when user come in and he can look at the comment and understand the exact workboard that he's looking at. So now I want to call in our colleagues and try and see if we can understand what caused the problem. We're going to use Necto's social capabilities to try and get to the underlying reason. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to drag Adam, which is the account manager for Powerhouse, inside the grid and place him specifically on the cell in which I want to have the discussion. When I do that, a discussion is going to start on the left between myself and Adam. Once I write my message, Adam's going to get this discussion as an alert in his Necto home screen. Also, an email will be sent to him. Adam can log in, click on the discussion, and take him directly to this cell and to this workboard. Adam can then maybe join other colleagues to create an ad hoc team, which can maybe understand what caused the falling cells. You can drag Alan, for example, or other colleagues and have a discussion trying to understand the problem. So now I want to continue to investigate channel analysis over territory, over time, and see similar workboards. I can create my own or use the advisor button, which will suggest to me different workboards which are similar. So when I click on the advisor, I get a bird's eye view of the Excel demo worksheet. I can also see how many people visited today, and in total, I can see how many people liked the workboard. I also get suggestions. The first type of suggestion is based on views. So people who viewed this workboard also viewed this workboard. Basically the same kind of suggestion you get in Amazon. The below suggestion is a bit different and it's based on data. So Necto knows which tags are available here, which data this workboard relies on, and can suggest workboards with similar data. Let's click into a workboard that Necto suggests to us. and see if we can get more insight on the drop in sales that we are looking at. So when the workboard opens, a new one that was suggested to us, we can see it already sliced according to music, movies, and audiobooks. Nectar automatically remembers our selection. Of course, we can manually change that, but since we do want to focus on this product, then it's basically very good for us. We can also see that this page is exactly around Q3, which is more or less the time we are interested in. One of the cool things we've seen this defined on this workboard is a bubble up exception. Bubble up exception is a very special exception because it highlights data which is hidden to the user. Right now, this exception is highlighting low selling countries, which are selling in less than 30,000 US dollars. If we hover on top of the exception, Nectar bubbles up, shows us all the countries which are selling less than 300,000 users, $300,000, although they're not visible on the grid. I can then, of course, change the threshold, for example, make it a bit higher so more countries will join, and so forth. Let's also try and see if Nectar finds something automatically. Let's click on Automatic Insight, and again we see an exception around North America. And when we hover on top of that, we see again a problem between Q3 and Q2 and 3, which we're continuing to investigate. But Nectar can do more than just point that there's a problem. Nectar can actually try and find reasons that can explain this problem. If we click on this cell and click Cause and Effect, Nectar will run different permutations over the data and the dimensions, trying to find reasons to this drop in sales we're trying to explain, or trying to find reasons for. Powered by SQL 2012, this algorithm even becomes more and more powerful, suggesting really amazing results in almost zero time. So we see now the different reports that Nectar is offering us. We see that some of the reports are focused around channel and stock. Some are focusing about in gender analysis. If we look at this specific report, which is suggested to us, we see that a lot of exceptions happening around specific type of products in Canada and United States. We can also see here exceptions, very, I think, powerful ones here, 42% around specific manufacturers in North America. We can, by the way, continue and run this algorithm cause and effect to try and find even the underlying reasons between those reasons which are suggested to us. But let's say we think this report around the manufacturer is pretty interesting, it can shed light or is important for the analysis we're performing. We just simply take it and drop it on our scrapbook to the left here. A scrapbook is a means for us to just take and throw information we see and save it and use it later on. So let's go back to the workbook we've been viewing, and let's add now this new report we just found out to the existing workboard. So see, we added this new grid here to this workboard, and we can add now comments and explain this workboard, explain the correlation between this grid and the one that was there before. We can now save this workboard on a private or public space according to our rights and start sharing it with our users. Right, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us on this demo. For more demos, please go to www.panorama.com under resources. You see many more stuff that Nectar can do.